2015 Jefferson nickel hides a secret worth thousands. A rare double die error missed for years. Meanwhile, a national park quarter sparks a modern treasure hunt. Are these coins hiding in your change? Discover the mystery behind two of the most surprising coin errors ever found, and how you could be holding history in your hand. The year was 2015, a time when the U.S. Mint operated with near-perfect precision, producing billions of coins every year to keep pace with modern commerce. Among them were the Jefferson nickels, 5-cent pieces that had remained largely unchanged in design since their debut in 1938. The obverse bore a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, while the reverse depicted his iconic home, Monticello. Millions were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, as they had been for decades. Most entered circulation unnoticed, passed from hand to hand in daily transactions, rarely given a second glance. But somewhere inside the Denver mint, during one particular production run, something went wrong. A die shift occurred during the hubbing process, just enough to create an anomaly that would go unnoticed for years, and no one saw it coming. It started like any other day for Maya, a collector who had inherited her grandfather's old cigar box filled with coins from the 50s through the early 2000s. She never stopped looking through change, always hoping to find something unusual. Most times, she found nothing. But this time, something caught her eye. A 2015 D Jefferson nickel. At first glance, it looked normal. No scratches, no off-center strike, no obvious flaws. But as she tilted it under the light, she noticed something strange. The date seemed slightly off. Not weakly struck or poorly defined, but almost duplicated. She grabbed her loupe, the kind collectors carry like a secret weapon, and examined the details more closely. There it was. A double die error, subtle but unmistakable. The 5 in the date showed signs of being stamped twice, ever so slightly misaligned. The word freedom along the reverse rim also bore the same telltale mark of duplication. This wasn't just a case of machine doubling. This was a true minting error, where the die itself had been hubbed incorrectly before striking any coins. Maya's hands trembled slightly as she realized what she might be holding. This wasn't just a rare nickel. It was a 2015 D double die obverse, a variety that had gone unnoticed for years, quietly slipping into circulation while collectors searched elsewhere. She sent the coin to a grading service, waiting anxiously for weeks. When the results came back, her breath caught. Authentic error, double die obverse, population. One known. Only one. That couldn't be right. Determined to learn more, Maya dove into research. She scoured numismatic forums, contacted experts, and combed through auction records. Slowly, the story unfolded. Back in 2015, the Denver Mint was running high-volume production lines to meet demand. The process involved creating master dies using a hubbing press. If the die shifted even slightly during this stage, it could create a ghost image, a second impression subtly offset from the first. In most cases, errors like this were caught before mass production. But somehow, this one slipped through. Only a small number of coins were struck from the affected die before the problem was corrected. And over the years, they disappeared into the stream of everyday currency. As news spread within the collector community, interest surged. What had once been worth 5 cents now commanded thousands. Initial estimates placed its value around $4,000, then $8,000, then $15,000. One example sold at auction for $27,000, setting a new benchmark. But then came the twist. During a routine audit of old mint records, a researcher uncovered a forgotten maintenance log from August 2015. It detailed an issue with one of the obverse dies used to strike Jefferson nickels that month. According to the report, a technician had adjusted the die after noticing an irregularity in the early strikes. The correction was quick, and no immediate concern was raised. But the log revealed something else. The affected die had struck approximately 310 coins before being replaced. 310. That number changed everything. If only one had been authenticated, where were the rest? Collectors launched silent hunts, scouring thousands of 2015 D nickels. Some believed others had surfaced quietly, changing hands privately. Others suspected many had been destroyed or remained hidden in old collections. Then, in 2024, another example emerged. Found in a collection passed down from a retired librarian who had saved every nickel he received between 2010 and 2020. The coin matched Maya's in every way. Graded MS-63, it sold at auction for over $33,000, shattering previous expectations. The market reacted instantly. Prices soared again. Speculators entered the game. Some began buying rolls of 2015 D nickels, hoping to find another. Others debated whether the mint's original log was accurate. Maybe there were more. But the real surprise came from an unexpected source. A third coin surfaced. Not in a collector's vault, but in a child's backpack. Discovered by a school librarian helping students sort coins for a history project, the nickel showed all the telltale signs of the same error. Sent in anonymously, it became the third known example. Graded lower due to wear, it still fetched over $19,000 at auction. Suddenly, the myth of the 2015 double die nickel took on a life of its own. Some called it the modern ghost. Others dubbed it the forgotten flaw. Collectors who once dismissed recent coins as too common now viewed them with fresh eyes. The realization hit hard. Even in the digital age with automated presses and laser-guided precision, mistakes still happened. And sometimes those mistakes became legends. Maya kept her coin locked away, not out of greed, but reverence. To her, it was more than metal and mintage. It was proof that history wasn't always written in books. Sometimes, it was stamped quietly into copper and nickel, waiting to be discovered by someone who knew how to look. Somewhere. Another 2015 Jefferson nickel sat in a drawer, a purse, or a jar. Maybe even in your pocket right now. You'd never know unless you checked. Every nickel tells a story. It was the kind of thing most people wouldn't notice. A casual glance, a toss into a jar, a routine exchange. The 2020 US quarter dollar, part of the America the Beautiful series, bore the familiar hallmarks of federal minting. The crisp edge, George Washington's stoic profile, the inscription of United States of America, and the location-specific design on the reverse. In this case, it was the National Park of American Samoa. Lush, mysterious, and brought to life by the image of a Samoan fruit bat cradling her young, hanging upside down as nature intended. It was a charming design, full of quiet symbolism. No fanfare surrounded its release. Just another installment in a multi-year series, one coin among millions. They rolled out of the Philadelphia and Denver mints by the hundreds of millions, each machine-stamped impression supposed to be identical. Minted in copper-nickel clad, the coin was part of the final leg of the series launched back in 2010. But something happened. Somewhere along the machinery's cold, regulated process, a subtle anomaly took form. Not a grand error, not a dramatic off-center strike or a double die obvious to the eye. No, this was quieter, more deceitful in its subtlety. A smooth surface where texture should have been. A faint doubling that danced just at the edge of perception. The coin found its way into circulation.
No alarms. No alerts.
But then, months later, a collector sorting through a mixed bag of pocket change stopped mid-motion. A flash of light caught at a strange angle, reflecting off what should have been a uniform surface. Something felt off. Not wrong, just different. They brought the coin closer, eyes narrowing under magnification, tracing the outer inscriptions, running a thumb over the fruit bat's fur. The bat's eye, that was it. There, barely perceptible without a loop, what seemed to be a doubling of the eye. And the mother bat's wing? A ghost image just beneath the surface, too symmetrical to be damage, too distinct to beware. A die clash, perhaps. Unease gave way to intrigue. The collector, seasoned yet not jaded, began cross-referencing databases, scanning forums, emailing contacts. No mention of it in official mint reports. No chatter on the collector boards. It wasn't listed in known error logs. Could it be new? Could it be the first? The coin was weighed, measured, scrutinized. Normal diameter. Normal mess. But the bat? That bat bore secrets. A misalignment in the reverse die. A transient minting defect? Every explanation offered only partial clarity. In the months that followed, whispers of similar coins emerged. One in Oregon, another in Georgia, a third spotted in a California flea market. Each bore the same spectral signature. A faint doubling of the bat's features, a telltale shimmer in the eye. Auction houses began to take notice, first as novelties, then as verified mint errors. Bidding started modestly, $15, then $50, one breaking $100. A spike followed. Suddenly, articles appeared in collector circles. The Phantom Bat Quarter? Unlisted mint error in the 2020 National Park Series? Scarcity fed desire, and desire inflated value. By late 2021. Examples graded MS65 with the now labeled bat doubling error crossed $500 at auction. A spike, then a dip. Skeptics accused sellers of manufacturing demand. But grading companies weighed in, legitimizing the defect as a genuine strike error, born of a misaligned reverse die clashing briefly with an obverse left slightly offset. The Mint, when questioned, issued a non-committal acknowledgement. A limited number of strike anomalies may have occurred during the 2020 production run. That vagueness only fueled curiosity. Collectors scoured eBay and estate sales. Entire rolls of 2020 quarters were cracked open, eyes straining for the telltale doubling. Some came up empty. Others struck gold, figuratively. One Pennsylvania collector found 3 within a single roll. A myth, or proof that an entire batch slipped through undetected? Then came the twist. In early 2023, a numismatist researching the error noticed something peculiar when comparing high-resolution scans. The doubling wasn't random. It formed a repeating pattern, subtle and encoded. A hidden W shape embedded in the eye's edge curvature. Not a letter per se, but a visual echo, matching that seen faintly in the West Point mint mark. But the coin wasn't minted at West Point. Officially, there was number 2020 American Samoa quarter produced there. So how could a West Point die mark, ghosted or clashed, appear on a Philadelphia strike? Speculation ran wild.
An Experimentaldieb?
A test strike inadvertently mixed into production? Some posited it was a briefly authorized test run at West Point, canceled and pulled before full release. But a few coins, less than a dozen, had made it into the wild. Those rare examples, now dubbed W Phantom Samoa errors, catapulted in value. By the end of 2024, a pristine example fetched $3,700 in a private sale, its origin still debated. Not for the casual collector. Not anymore. And still, more may be out there. Sitting in a drawer, a jar, a parking meter. Just a bat and her baby, hiding a mystery in plain sight.